Shiurim and Baruch. Let's go back to the Tzav Vziruz. Sefer we've been learning for several weeks already. And I'm going to start with a riddle that you've all heard probably, but it's worth repeating because it speaks to the subject matter that the Rebbe wants to talk about in this next chapter. If I am I, because I am I, and you are you, because you are you, then I am and you are. But if I am I because of you, and you are you because I am I, then I am not and you are not. Kotzker riddle. Kotzker Rebbe used to say that this battle. Because if I am I know who I am, then I exist. And if you know who you are, and we'll explain what that means in a moment, then you are. But if I am I because of you, in other words, I'm following a herd, I'm part of something, and I'm not even aware of who I am, then I don't exist. And the same is true conversely with you. So let's pick up what the Rebbe brings down to us. The Rebbe says, people are always bemoaning, crying out, using as an excuse what seems to them to be their lack of freedom of choice. They feel that they're so compelled by their earthly desires, their wants, says the Rebbe, that they feel they never can really control themselves. Says the Rebbe, but know that every choice that must emerge from an individual person, right? There must be an individual person making that choice. What does that mean? People say, listen, I can't, this is the world, this is the place I am, I'm not even making these choices, I'm just going along. Everyone, I go to right yeshiva because that yeshiva works for everybody else. I want to be part of it. I'm worried about my shidduchim, so I send my kids to a school that I know personally that school's not good for this kid. Or I don't want to upset the cart, the apple cart. Because people become prisoners of society, right? But the Rebbe, and obviously the Kotzker and all Chassidus was built on a person knowing who he is, his individuality. Right? Before you can have choices of if I'm going to follow, I'm going to do this mitzvah, or if I'm going to fall into a rut and allow the desires of this world take me hostage, I have to know who I am. I have to be attached to so I can choose. Otherwise, I'm not choosing for myself. I'm going with the crowd. So he says, the Rebbe says, you must look deep inside to see if you have individuated, if you discerned your real self. This is the most important part of Chassidus. You have to get down, and it's not enough to wear the right shtreimel or the right hat or the right suit or it's not about these things. It's about finding out where's this choice coming from? He says, are you a person who can stand by himself, knowing who you are and knowing this is what I am? or you're just a member of a species. The human species, all creatures belong to species, right? So you can how can you say I can't do the right thing or can't follow a certain ruling or it, when there is no I that's involved with the decision? It's whatever somebody else has told me, and I'm just floating. We have plant life, animal subspecies, right? They don't have any individuality. They follow the herd. There is no mindset, right? It's a collectiveness that just, it's a species that just runs. Right, but it was not created to have an individuality. So the essence of individualization, right, is the vital difference between us and all the other species that just go along. So how is a person supposed to do this? How do you become the individual when you're substitute in a society which is throwing advertising at you day and night to follow and to aspire to who? I see so many advertisers. I'm not going to mention. It's not my place now here to talk about these things in that sense. But you all know what the glossy Fruma magazines, very good magazines. There's a lot to be found there, I guess. But did you look at the advertisements? Speak to the commercialization of our Yiddishkeit. They're selling stuff. That's what it's about. And they put it into a manner in which you will feel comfortable. It's from Zach. I'm reading stuff very choshev Zach and choshev Rubin. I write for such things, but I have no control of what the advertisers are saying. But the advertisers are driven by a sense of understanding that people are safe. They go with the crowd. If the crowd is going here, we go there. But that's not the individual. So how do I get this individuality? Right? How do I change from from just being a chimpanzee and becoming Ben Neshama, that's individual and has his own avodah and his own tikkun? How do I work on this? A person has to work on himself with the essence, says the Rebbe, of who he really is. Not only must he not remain, says the Rebbe, imprisoned by social rules or cultural customs or accepted thought without the ability to see beyond them, but he must also have a mind of his own, not just to be contrary, but to know where you stand. Without this, says the Rebbe, not only is he not a Jew, but he's not really a human being. He's not a person. So this means bringing out that which is unique within yourself. All right? That which depicts, touches on your very inner neshama. Your Torah learning, your davening, right, should be not just an expression of your intelligence. Some people have a get the cup, I can learn it, but it's got to speak to your neshama, your very essence. The way you approach Torah learning or davening should represent you. People daven in certain places in a shul because everyone, that's the place to be seen. I've spoken to people. I mean, that's what I do, right? I said, when was the last time you were excited by davening? He looked at me and I could see the sadness. So why do you daven in a place that you don't get that? It's not speaking to your inner nakuda. So why are you there? My wife wants me to be there because that's where the kids are going to have, that. I don't want to be stempled as something that I'm not. It was a pshat. So wer daven? Who's davening? When someone hears a dvar Torah or experiences or sees a specific kind of spiritual practice, right? Let him be able to identify as something that talks to him. Let him make it his. It's not good enough that you could sing the same song that the other guy sings. It has to be you singing the niggin. You make the niggin yourself into who you are. Each person expresses himself and his needs in a unique and essentially self manner through the vehicle of his Torah that he learns and his davening that he davens and his mitzvahs that he does. You have an obligation, Torah Yidin, says the Rebbe. You have an obligation. This is not only a privilege reserved for a couple of, mindful people. Each and every Yid, says the Rebbe, each and every little one of us has not only the right, but the obligation to express his unique and individual self. And to the degree, says the Rebbe, in the degree that you are able to live in this world from the very center of your uniqueness, to that degree, you will be able to exercise your individual free choice. In other words, when you decide something, it's coming from you. So the more you can find out who you are within yourself, you have to raise yourself above the crowds. Bring out what makes you unique. And every one of you is unique. I don't care. I'm sitting here in my little room. I'm envisioning by unsere Stiebel. I know this one, that. You're all individuals. And the chiddush from the base Medrash is that we allow each other to be individuals. Says the Rebbe, become a person who can choose for himself by knowing who he himself is, and this is a prerequisite for reaching Kaviyuchel the Eibishter. Otherwise, you could touch the eye, you could cry, but you're not. It's not you. It's the crowd. It's somebody else. Pretty heavy stuff here. Jeder gekommen zum Kotzke Rebbe. And the Kotzke Rebbe turned to him and said, "What's this to do? What are you doing here? What are you doing?" So the Yid turns to the Rebbe and says, "I'm looking for the Eibishter." Right? Figure you'll catch a couple of points on this one. I'm looking for God. That's why I'm by the Rebbe. The Rebbe says, "Get out of here. I have nothing to give you. I'm looking for God. It's not my job. When you come back and tell me you're looking for yourself, who you are, then you could do business. Then you could become part of the Chevra." Not flying. Just find out who you are before you could go climbing mountains. And anyone who knows the Kotka Chabura, the whole Hasidus of those times, was built on individuality. Now, I had this the Schwezer who was a Polish, he was not, his grandfather was called the Moshe Lakotka. This is old school stuff. Yeah. He was just, I once wrote about this. If everyone was buying, big white hats, he bought a small straw hat. When everyone decided to wear long coats in the weekdays, he bought a new suit, short suit. He just didn't want to be part of the crowd. He just. And the people who knew him respected that he was in the best way possible. He was a character. Halavai, I should be a character. You should be a character. Let's stop. Let's just think and give each other room to become who we really are. Let's have that as the next. We're still living in a world of lockdown a bit. It's giving in a bit. Now it's getting stricter every day, something new. But you have time to think. What am I doing here? Do I have a choice? Am I who I am? It says Elul Bal. Let's get ready. Let's get ready for the task at hand. We'll talk about this a bit next time. See this Tzav is all the best. Kol Tov.